Hello, this is Brian Vickery in Denver, Colorado, and I'm updating the About Me section of my blog, and I thought I would use video for a portion of that. They always say that people like doing business with people they like. So with that in mind, I'm using this video to convey who I am as a person, and hopefully we can determine whether we would like doing business together, perhaps as soon as 2013. So here I go with some background. So to start out, I was a kid who pretty much grew up on the wrong side of the tracks, and my grandparents took me in when I'm 13. Now the advantage of that is my grandparents taught me some very strong family values that I've since passed on to my own kids, and it's also the values that I have with my professional relationships as well, often graying the lines between personal and professional. So some of these things are looking at this tree as an example, which, by the way, you can also see my grandmother in the background. She's still that important and was truly the matriarch of our family, and now my own wife is taking on that role. But the reason why I bring up this tree goes to show that when it comes to the Vickerys, relationships and memories matter more than image. So in this case, my youngest daughter, Savannah, had a friend who was going to be moving out of state, and she wasn't going to be able to decorate a Christmas tree and celebrate Christmas in her home. So a major upheaval. So what does Savannah do? Savannah takes one of our old trees and actually decorates it, sets aside time, and spends an evening decorating it with her friend so her friend could feel what it was like to decorate a Christmas tree and be part of this holiday season. So that's a reflection of values that came from my grandparents through me, and now my kids are living it. You know, I was heartened when I saw that my kids, when they wrote their essays for college, one of them writes about family dinner. So when she's sitting there trying to impress colleges, what she realized was one of the most important things that she had experienced through growing up were family dinners, where we actually gathered together and had relationships together with no distractions of TVs or games or anything like that. We sat together as a family, we laughed, we cried, you know, the whole ball of wax. Now, Savannah is now applying for colleges, and what does she do? What is one of her best posts? She writes about comfort foods and love, and how comfort foods definitely aren't fat-free, but they're definitely full of love. She wrote about homemade rolls and how a matriarch, my grandmother, actually impacted me and had love for me, and how we are passing it on to our children. So those are obviously very important values for us, and I love seeing it that it's got to the next generation. Now, another thing my grandparents taught me to be is fiscally conservative. So basically, you spend less than you make. Okay, and you always save and you eliminate debt. So really, just to give you a case, when interest rates were just dropping through the floor and foreclosures were happening, a lot of people were opportunistic and used that to kind of upsize their homes. My wife and I, both being of the fiscally conservative variety, instead chose to cut our mortgage in half in terms of the term, and now the good news is we're 5 years away from having our mortgage paid off. And I'm very thankful that I have a wife that's aligned with me when it comes to making those type of decisions. Now, moving on, growing up in a small Texas town, you play football. But I want to say something. Football probably taught me more than what I actually learned in the classroom when it comes to real life. And what I mean by that is work ethic and perseverance. Two things, for example. I mean, I was an undersized person for the position I played, and so I had to work hard at it. And I had coaches that were definitely ready to slap me upside the head, we're talking South Texas here, back in the day, and make me work that much harder to get the most out of me that they could and that I could as a person. Also learned a lot about conflict resolution. Emotions run high on a football field, on that field of competition, and so the ability to basically disarm any arguments, getting people back to the huddle, that type of conflict resolution actually helps in the business world as well. And I kind of take that attitude there. I'm not a person who's going to ramp up, amp up, escalate. I'm going to be a lot more about doing conflict resolution and trying to find a way out of that that's going to benefit all parties involved. Now, because of football, I do use sports analogies to teach. So my blog is mostly centered around social media and leadership, and I use sports analogies to convey my feelings and try to get my ideas across, because I truly think that what happens on the battlefield of a football field or a basketball court or a judo mat or a tennis court, those things can be translated to the business world. I mean, that's why you have books like Art of of War written, where they actually took war principles and passed it on, and have it so that you can apply it to business principles as well. So I appreciate what football has given to me, and it's definitely made me a huge fan. So you'll see plenty of Tim Tebow and Denver Broncos and NFL posts in general, and now we're coming into the NBA season. I'm going to tell you another little thing. I suck at sales. Okay, when you look at any books written by people like David Sandler and so on, they talk about how, I should be finding pain points, and I shouldn't fall in love with my products, and I shouldn't spend so much time educating. And you know what? I do fall in love with my products a lot of times. I do want to know your pain points, and I do want to address those pain points, and I've gotten a lot better through maturity in my career in terms of ferreting out what that pain is and how we can best solve it versus taking some pre-made solution and trying to shove it down your throat. So I am there to listen. Mantis as a whole, my company Mantis Technology Group, has great business analysts to do that same thing. They're much better at listening first. We have 2 ears, 1 mouth. Listen first, then convey your ideas. And so even though I suck at sales and can still fall in love with solutions and want to educate, we have gotten much better at being able to listen first and then address. When it comes to teaching also, because I like to educate, I am a natural teacher. I do love to teach. If I can teach you, if I can coach you, I get excited when I see the light bulb go off. That's very important to me. It's important to me when I'm dealing with a kid on a sports field, or whether I'm dealing with someone in a classroom in a business setting, or whether I'm just dealing with a client that I'm doing some type of handoff on. The ability to teach and see that that has indeed set in, that lesson has set in, and people move forward to satisfy clients is very, very important to me. So that's just a major component of who I am. I take it from an education perspective. I mean, in fact, that's why I volunteer so much with a lot of STEM initiatives, because I think it's very important to teach this next generation who's going to be making decisions for us after we exit this workforce. And that's going to be decisions around healthcare. It's going to be decisions around new technologies, new innovation. And so I think it's very, very important even to give back to the education system, because we as industry can even be the difference. Okay, you can talk about all kinds of fiscal cliffs and so on. We as industries, if we're willing to volunteer and put ourselves forward, we can be the difference makers in terms of educating that next generation. Now, I do need to talk about Mantis offerings, because I do blog primarily because I want you to learn about, know, and trust what Mantis has. So even though I do a lot about blogging, social media, and leadership because of our Mantis Pulse Analytics offering, which is basically a monitoring tool, a sentiment analysis solution that you can use to track your brand. Okay, so whether it's finding brand advocates, finding the people who are saying great things about you, or whether it's doing brand protection and brand management when people aren't saying such great things about you, Mantis helps find those conversations with Pulse Analytics and let you take part in those conversations, as well as identifying trends around your brand and around your competition, okay, and what they're doing, so you can monitor that as well. So I encourage you to take a look at Pulse Analytics. We love giving demonstrations, a lot of times using your data and then even correlating that with things like Google Analytics and even what your marketing spend is. So it's an awesome demonstration. I encourage you to do that. But really, that's only a fraction of what Mantis does. I mean, we started out doing software development, and that is still a huge component of what we do. So we do development in Java and .NET against Oracle, SQL Server, MySQL, Hadoop, you name it, especially with big data. Big data is becoming a huge portion of what our own strategy is, not only for Pulse Analytics, but for solutions for clients as well. And then we have the whole business intelligence practice. So we like doing the data integration, grabbing data from all different sources within your organization, running it through data quality so it's data that you can trust, and an apple is an apple, and doing that type of confirmation of the data. And then we want to make it so that the end product, the reports and the dashboards, are providing you actionable intelligence about your business so that you can move forward and make good decisions for your business and be successful. So, and then test automation. We do that as well. So not only do we have a great QA group, but we even do test automation for some of our clients where we automate the testing of some of the software solutions that we provide or solutions that clients have purchased elsewhere. So we are truly a diversified software solution provider, and I really do hope that you check out Mantis and you allow me to help you field all the different offerings that Mantis provides and how we can best be a solution provider for you. So I'm going to end this by saying, I'm trying to give you a sense of what my priorities are. Really, my first role model was my grandmother. Okay, she was selfless. She was generous of heart. She was kind. She was always there to teach. She was always there to actively teach. And really, that has transitioned, and my own wife now is the best role model I have. So if that's showing you vulnerability, then vulnerability it is. My wife is my best role model. She teaches me how I should live my life in terms of being more generous, more kind, more charitable, and just being more empathetic for other people. So I try to pass that on not only with the relationships that I have personally, but also passing that on to my business relationships as well. So this is Brian Vickery. I hope that this is giving you some insight into the kind of person I am and the values that I have. I hope that I can help you in your business, and I look forward to talking with you. So thanks a lot from Denver, Colorado. Have a happy holiday season. Bye.